regulator in this 2002 Monte Carlo. It's not a 2002, I'm sorry, it's a 2000. The one that's in there, this is the original one, so it's been in there for 21 years. And I'm going to try something and hopefully it will work and save myself time and help you out too. And what I've done is I've made my own tool, you might say. Took a little one of these 1/4-inch jobs. I wish it was longer so I could put more torque on it, but this is what I got. And I took a T30 torque bit, I put it in there, and then I cut strips of tape to wrap around front and back. I used actually 4 pieces, and you want to make sure, I'm going to put this on just because, you want this back part good and tight, because the first time I attempted this, I just had 1 piece on the back and 1 piece on the front, and when I was going in there, this popped through out the back, and I almost lost it. Luckily, it didn't fall down too far, and I was able to get at it. And like I said, this thing's been in here for, 21 years. It's original, so it took quite a bit of effort to get it to start. And you gotta hold it and see what I was holding. I'm pushing pretty hard on it, and that's why it popped out through the back. This time I'm not gonna do that so much. Now you could probably, if you got a little teeny ratchet, get in there and do this. You do it without this tool, but if you don't have that, or you don't feel like going out and spending the money, this is the way. It'll take you a little longer, I guess, but she is turning out. Okay, I had to put this in here to hold, whatever you want to call this, the throttle control open, because this was starting to hit against that, and I wouldn't have had enough room. And looks like it says 15/16. It was a little tight. You could probably go a little smaller, but it's working, it's keeping that from interfering with the back of this. It's still too tight. I've seen, on the TV, on YouTube, people doing this, and they get to this point and they seem to come to where you can take it out with your fingers, but so far this one here, it's still tight. But there's no way I'm going to get that with my fingers. I don't want to drop it in there either. It's a little tedious. Now it's pretty loose. This thing's in the way, but I don't want to break it. It's brittle. Nah, still not enough. I don't know what they'd charge you to replace this at a repair shop, but if you go through the whole motion taking all this stuff out, that might scare some people off from doing this job. I do intend to take this off in a little while and change the air filter out, but if I don't have to take the throttle body off, that's nice. Okay, where I'm at now is, of course, we got this off, and now we want to separate this from here. I've already done it, you see, but you can get in here and use a screwdriver to pry it off. And once you get that pried off, now you can pull it. Oh yeah, take that off. That little, I guess it's a vacuum line. And you want to get this out of there now. It's a tight fit. see, now you got it out and you got a little more room to play. So you got to get in here now and separate this from that. You know, you got to get that nut off of these threads on this one. Now they call, if you're watching on YouTube, they're saying you need a 24 millimeter, which I didn't have, but I did have a 15/16. From what I could tell, they're identical, and you're gonna need two. This, I don't know if I'm gonna get in there with these two to do it or not. I've got another wrench that's thinner, but I'm gonna try this one first, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, what I found out is I got it, but it didn't go quick like I wanted to. And I think if you had two of these, or two 24s, or a 24 in this, it would have been an easier operation. But I got in here, as you can see, I put these vice grips on here, and I already loosened it, but it was cranked on there pretty good. But there you go. And as you can see, it did break it. Now, can I get that out of here, you know? And it looks like, I hope, hopefully, can just do it from this point on, like this. Then, it is tight. It is a tight place. And this has taken me a while, because I've never done this before like this. But I think that if I did this every day for a living, I'd do it this way instead of the other way, because I'm sure it'd be a lot quicker, and, you know, if you're doing this to make money. There you go. She's off. All I gotta do is put the other one back on. Okay, a lot of people, you know, they say you gotta put something on the rubber O-ring. And I've been doing this ever since I can remember, and I just use a little bit of dish detergent, not much but a dab. Okay, we got it on, and it was a bit tricky because the fuel line was hanging up down there, so you couldn't push it down. And if I had a flashlight, if you get to this point and you can't get this to go down, you'll look there and you'll see where the fuel line's, you know, hanging up, and you got to push it over. But it wasn't going all the way in. I thought I had it all the way in, but it wasn't. I had a pretty big gap here. So I took this and I got in here and I snugged it over, and then I got to a certain point where then I had to turn around and use the thicker side and snug it over some more. Remember, you push that into the fuel rail, so don't get crazy with it. But that's how I got that in. So now it's back to the little homemade, you know, wrenchy, and we can turn this thing in. Okay, we got it all back in, and I decided, you know, I put in a new PCV valve, and I put on a new fuel filter. You know, why not? And this didn't really fit tight, so I put a little plumber's putty around it. I don't know if it would have mattered or not. These are some conclusions I came to from doing this. It took me a while. I think if I was racing against like a regular professional mechanic that does it the way they generally show you how to do it, he probably would have beat me. But again, I think I'm repeating myself. myself, but if I did this every day and I had the right tools, because as you saw, I had to, improvise. I could do it a lot quicker if I did this for a living, let's just say, and I had to do this more often. I think it was more of just a test to see if I could do it. And having said that, this is why I did it, okay? You'd be getting in this car, and it would start right up, cold in the morning. And as soon as you started it up and drove down to the auto parts store because you need parts, you'd go get your part, come out, and then the thing wouldn't start. It would start, but you'd turn the key, and it would go, and then you'd cycle again. And I got to the point where I'd say, okay, and I'd cycle it a couple times before I'd start it, and it still would do that. And then you'd do it a couple times, and I'd push down the accelerator some, and then she'd fire up. And it's been doing this for quite a long time. And whether or not this is going to solve the problem, I honestly don't know. But I do know this. That thing's got over 200,000 miles on it. And so it needed to be changed. I'm quite sure of that. Now what they say about the test is in the pudding or something like that. I'm going to fire it up and see if she leaks. If she leaks, well, what can you say, Let's see what happens. Okay, as you can see, it's got 213,672 miles on it. I'm going to cycle this a few times. And by the way, it wasn't a check engine light on. It wasn't no codes. The only thing I've got, it's been always showing for years now, is the ABS. And I flushed the brake fluid on this and played with that. I even took it to the garage and they said they fixed it, and I got it home and it came right back on. Alright, let's see what happens. Yeah, there's that ABS light. Alright, let's go see if she's leaking. I haven't got a very strong flashlight here, it's daylight. I'm not detecting any leak. Like I said, you saw it started up, but it always did. It always did start cold. So let's see. I think she's okay. And I'll put you this way. I'm going to drive it around some, and in about 3-4 days, if it's still going and not kicking over like it should, I will put a note in the message. I'll leave a message there, whatever, and I'll pin it. And regardless though, with 200,000+ miles, I guess it wasn't a bad idea to change it. Okay, one more point to make. Would I do it again like this? It's a good question. I ran into some little problems which I, overcame obviously. But I probably want to get another 15/16 inch wrench or 24 inch. And I don't know, I'd probably do it again this way just because. Here's my helper. Hey, helper. No, you ain't getting no food. This is the last word on this project. If you don't want to take it to a garage and have a mechanic do it, and you want to do it yourself, I'm not saying this was the better way. I leave it up to you to decide. And